Welcome into Cascade Middle School. You're watching this a little bit later on today. Apologies that this is not in live stream format, but we couldn't get service with a Hubble telescope out here this morning. But we are picking up the stream here at the start of the second quarter of game number one as Upperman leads Moore County 11-3. A great first quarter for the Lady Bees. We'll tell you about it. But first, I'm Noah McKay, joined by Jacob Vincent. Today's broadcast is presented by Nick's Restaurant. This is the first of 3 games. We'll upload all 3 in their entirety later on this Saturday afternoon to our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. Jacob, first quarter dominated by Upperman. They get a couple of threes out of Taylor Delente, another one out of Gracie Butler. And during the pregame show that nobody will ever hear, we talked about those two playing the key role offensively in the absence of Jayla Cobb and Abigail Johnson. A great first quarter for Upperman.
Yeah, absolutely. And it all started on that defensive side of the ball. Played really, really well on that defensive side. Offensively, they were able to find some deep shots like you mentioned. Taylor Delente able to knock down a couple of them. Gracie Butler, one of them as well. Offensively, still trying to find their rhythm a little bit, but that defense is so good that the offense only has to be good enough to need about 40 points, and they're able to get out of here with some wins.
Here, ability to go back to a style that's really familiar to her. She had an absolute weapon in Abigail Johnson and was wise to feed her early and often, but this 5-guard look out of Coach McWilliams is something they love to do. They had it to a lot of success, and they're able to run that high-pressure defense. We saw them run a full-court press the entirety of the first quarter, forced a bunch of turnovers as we get back to action here. Gracie Hamilton with the ball. She gives off to Taylor Delente. Delente cycles inside. The ball's knocked out of her hands and stolen away. Here come the Raiderettes in transition. Emma Sassanoff with it, and she gives back off now. Firing a pass in a low block. Getting that ball movement working, and there'll be a holding foul called inside. And I believe this is a freshman who's into the game. It is. Remember the name Sadie South. She can shoot the lights out of the building. A little Taylor Delente-esque last year, how Delente came in and started making everything in sight. South has the ability to do that. Dana McWilliams wants to talk about things as she calls the timeout. So for Upperman this season, coming off another trip to the state tournament, they fell in the quarterfinal round, and one of the only schools in the state where that's a disappointment. They want to get 2 steps further this year. It's a team with state championship and gold ball aspirations, and a team with the balance that they have with Butler and Delente and the defense with Hamilton and Mullins that certainly on paper has the potential to get there.
Yeah, and it's something that'll be interesting to see, too, how the rebounding game changes for this Bees team. You mentioned Abigail Johnson. Offensively, they got her the ball. She was a really good rebounder as well. So in working out of that zone, you got to make sure you get box outs out of the rebound. But seems like they're a little bit deeper this year as well. They've gone into the bench a little bit more here already in this first game. And Coach McWilliams is still trying to find that rotation that she trusts, especially early on in the season. That's what you're trying to find, who works well together, what sets you can run out there, and what rotations you can use. And it's worked pretty well early on.
Inbounds pass was tipped out of play. Again, apologies if this is not live, but trust me, we did everything we could. It wasn't happening this afternoon. 7:34 to go in the second quarter. Inbounds pass flipped over. Now over into the corner. Looking for it is Caroline Parker. Parker gives off to Sassanoff. Now a pass tipped up into the air and intercepted by Gracie Hamilton. Hamilton now looking to push it in transition. Finds Bella Mullins. Mullins is fouled. And that'll be the first team foul of the quarter called against Moore County. We'll also give the caveat that as the inbounds pass goes in, Butler tries to throw it up, didn't get the call, possession back to Moore County. It was a late night last night. It was an exciting night, especially if you're an Upperman fan, as they defeated Macon County to advance onto the semifinal round of the football postseason. But because of that, if this is not the most crisp call we've ever had, we beg your pardon. Right side.
We got caffeine. We're okay.
Oh, there is a ton of caffeine and sugar pumping through my veins right now. A minute into the second quarter, Upperman passing off. Now they're in a zone defense. They went into this 2-3. It looks like a 2-3, but they cover a lot more ground than a traditional 2-3, and there's a 3-second violation in the paint as Bella Tucker was going to battle with Gracie Butler, and Butler won that one. 3-second call, and a timeout going to be called here by Moore County. Ava Mae Allen about to check into the game for Upperman. Yeah, Upperman advanced on, so
Something that's interesting that you mentioned, that 2-3 zone, and talking with coaches, especially in 7 AAA that play against the 2-3 zone, they said, yeah, it looks like a 2-3 zone, but it's nothing like they've ever played against just because of the way that they run it. Livingston has a similar one. They call it 11. It looks like a 2-3 zone, but those two at the top are kind of stacked up rather than next to each other, and so it kind of looks like that 2-3, but it plays so much different. It plays more like a 1-3-1. This one plays a little bit more like a traditional 2-3, but it's so good, and they've been doing it for such a long time.
Yeah, you've seen them at times, kind of a similar formula to last year where they start man-to-man, show that they can match up there, and then get into that zone and just suffocate teams defensively, only allowing 3 points so far through 9+ minutes of game time. Ava Allen with her first action as Moore County shows a full-court press, and Gracie Butler breaks the timeline, gives over to Allen. Allen. Now to Delente. Delente off dribble, picks up, finds Butler. She triggers the three. That's no good. Rebounded out to Allen, though. Possession extended for the Lady Bees. Allen picks up dribble and now sends right side to Bella Mullins. Mullins, a player there, very comfortable with the basketball in her hands. Kick out pass to Allen. She triggers the three. That's no good. Rebound down to the Raiderettes, and now they'll look to push it ahead. 6:15 to go in the second quarter, an 8-point Upperman lead. Familiar story so far. Not the most scoring, but tight defense being performed by the 3A powerhouse. Pass inside, it's swept away by Butler, and Sadie South has it. The freshman South gives out to Butler. Butler kicks back to South for 3, no good. Allen, though, with the rebound. Now she hands off to Delente. Delente back out to Butler. Butler finds Allen again. Allen off left wing side, and now Coach McWilliams gives the new play call in. Some fresh faces in Allen and South playing meaningful minutes here in this first game. Delente driving in, and now a foul is called on the floor for a push. It'll be the second team foul against Moore County.
It was a really good find by Delente as well. She got pushed in the process, but the foul going to be called anyways. And that second team foul in this second quarter would have been a wide open layup, but kind of worked out for Moore County.
Mullins, a little no-look pass to Delente in the corner. Now she picks up dribble, sends out to Allen. Allen back off to Mullins. We're going to get another fresh face into the game here. Or pardon me, it's Gracie Hamilton going to the scorer's table. Now a bounce pass inside. Delente somehow found it. Step through, puts it up, no good. Rebound down as the offenses have gone cold here in this second quarter.
Yeah, Upperman's getting the shots. They're running good offense, just haven't been able to knock him down. And again, the defense has been so good, they still have the 8-point lead.
And again, this 2-3 look, but there's no open looks. And there's another steal. Here comes Upperman the other way. Gracie Butler, coast to coast, loses handle. It's stolen away by Moore County. Here come the Raiderettes trying to push it before that zone can get established, but unable to do so as they'll settle back in. Flip pass over right side, 3-ball up, nowhere close. That one not saved in bounds, so possession goes back to the Lady Bees. Ella Harrell, Cora Bass, and Gracie Hamilton into the game here for Upperman.
I was just going to say, they're running the 2-3 zone, and Moore County has shown that they don't look terribly comfortable out on the perimeter shooting the basketball, and we see it right there as well. So that's why they haven't been able to score outside of the free throw line.
Hamilton gives back over to Mullins. Mullins going to cross the timeline with it. Hands off to Bass. Bass surveying the floor. She works it over. Now finds Harrell. Harrell turns. Pivots a couple of times. Now finds Delente. Long three. No good. She's in the gym. She's within range. The tip comes down, and the rebound goes to the Raiderettes.
She had some huge shots as a freshman last year, and now poised for a big season coming into this year.
No scoring so far in the second quarter, and we're midway through. Now, potential steal. It is a steal, and running it down is Cora Bass. We're about to have some scoring as the layup is good.
Finally able to get it done in transition. And that's something that obviously the Bees play some really good defense. They turn teams over. They're going to be able to take advantage of this year, especially playing those 5 guards. They got the 4 guards out there and a post player in Harrell, but playing those 5 guards, they're going to have opportunities like that where they're able to get out and run a little bit more.
3 fresh Raiderettes checking into the game. They're in those Columbia blues. Love that color scheme. Love it. The Uppermen in the white jerseys with the white shorts, the gold and black trim. .350 to go in the second. Flip pass ahead, left wing side. Spinning it back out. Surveying the floor. Now a pass intercepted by Delente. Taylor Delente into the front court. Now jump stops and sends it off to Hamilton. Hamilton drives and kicks to Delente. Bass floats off an off-ball screen. It'll reset here. We're in the middle school this afternoon, this afternoon when you're watching it. Left side, Mullins into Harrell on the low block, and she puts it off the glass, good for 2.
Well, said they might go 5 guards. They've got a post player in there, a younger post player coming in. A nice, really good pass and a good move as well. Looked pretty Abigail Johnson-esque.
Yeah, Ella Harrell, she's played those as a sophomore last year, played those spell minutes for Johnson very rarely when Abigail would have to come off. But that time, that's a great job by her to shield off the defender and get that inside leverage and kiss it off the glass. 3:16 to go after a foul was called on Bella Mullins. This pressure ratcheting up again for Upperman. Pass right side, just in front of the Upperman bench. Trying to drive baseline. Little shoulder shrug, turnaround shot, nothing close. Rebounded by Mullins, but she looks right at 2 different Raiderettes. There's a fight for it. Mullins still has it. She's pivoting, and now we have a foul called and a hold on Moore County.
It's been a pretty physical ball game all game long.
Feels like an Upperman basketball game.
It does,
out
yes
here.
it does.
I think an Upperman game broke out at 9 a.m. in Wartrace. Gracie Butler back into the game and been impressed. Upperman's gone 9 deep on the bench so far, and there hasn't been a drop-off without those players. Offensively, not a big quarter so far, but again, no points allowed, and they'll take that. Gracie Butler showing off the speed now. Coast to coast, there she goes, but they're going to have an offensive foul. A clear out. Harrell clearing out in the block. And Butler was going to score anyway, but the official calls it, and the possession will go the other way. That's one of those that I think 9 times out of 10 uncalled, and Dana McWilliams not happy about it at all.
I believe this is official we've seen at the state tournament before as well, and we actually had one in the Cookeville game last night. So
why did you point that out to me? As the pass goes out of play, it goes right back to Upperman, and I think that is ball don't lie, potentially. Coach McWilliams getting her money's worth. Possession right back
she's
to
pretty
Upperman.
good at doing that as well.
Inbounds pass flipped in. Back in is South. Now Gracie Hamilton triggers and buries a Sonia Brown with American Way Real Estate 3.
A really good pass into the corner, had some open space, takes advantage of it. Now the offense starting to heat up a little bit.
2:31 to go in the second quarter. Full court pressure, running out of time. Just at the last second, they cross the timeline, but it's poked away from behind by South, and it's going to be an easy lay-in for Hamilton. 5 straight for her, and look out, Upperman rolling downhill. How many times in the last 2 decades have we seen this out of Upperman? Moore County's got to be careful. Low block pass, and that's going to be a backcourt violation if they get to it first, which they do. Possession back to Upperman with a 17-point lead and 2:04 to go in the second. Night-night.
Well, and Coach McWilliams talking to her before the game, kind of, I don't know if she was downplaying expectations at all. Obviously, it was a new Bees team without Jayla Cobb and Abigail Johnson. And
the practices have been, they've had some injuries that they've battled through there. Maggie Butler was going to be a starter for this team. She tore her ACL a few months ago, but even since they could start practicing in November, they've had players come in and out. They look really good right now. 1:53 to go in the second, and it's 20-3. Ava Allen going to check back into the game. And the one surprise, I think, for me, the depth. 9 players rotating in and out, and all playing well right now.
And this is a good Moore County team. This is a good 1A basketball
it's
team
a team
as
that could be in the glass house.
Absolutely.
Flip pass goes over to Allen. Allen reverses. Now Harrell at the top of the key. Butler with it. South. Sadie South triggers the 3. That's no good, a bit too strong. And Ava Allen goes up and gets the rebound. She's going to get called for a travel, but that's when the coaching staff's going to love when they turn on the tape.
Coach McWilliams just kind of laughing at that one because she did sky up for it. Couldn't quite keep her balance on the way down. But, yeah, you love to see the effort, especially from these younger players that are getting some good playing time in the first half.
1:35 to go in the second quarter. It's all Upperman here at Cascade Middle School. One of the cool things I think about the sport of basketball is now we've got a stoppage and a timeout called by Moore County. Jacob, this is the first game of the season for Upperman, and it's in front of 100 people in a middle school.
Maybe.
And in 5 months, they could be playing for a state championship potentially in front of 8,000 people at the Murphy Center. It's the only sport where you're going to get a contrast like that. It's one of the things that I think makes it special.
Absolutely. Well, we just did that Cookeville game a few days ago at Roan State, which was kind of the same thing. It's a pretty big gym, but just felt super empty because there wasn't really anybody there. You feel like you're kind of talking to everybody, kind of like we are now. And but yeah, and they're playing
everybody.
And they're playing some good basketball as well. First game of the season. That's what I think I've been most impressed with in the teams that we've seen so far this week. I've seen the Cavaliers a couple of times, the Lady Cavs. Now seeing the Bees. They look good in the first week of the season. It doesn't seem like there's a ton of drop-off, but these are also programs that they have such high expectations. They practice how they want to play, and they practice the right way. They practice at a high level, and it helps them so much at the start of the season.
Talking about this Upperman team specifically, when I interview coaches for preview stories, I always finish with the same question, and it's what are your expectations this year? And Upperman, you'll see other teams when they've got a team that's loaded that coming back that'll say, we want to be in the state tournament and we want to win. Every year, every team, but particularly the basketball teams, we want to be in. Expectations here are high. They embrace those expectations. And the scary thing about Upperman right now is if they have, which they have, they've had the rotating pieces in practice and not sure what the rotations are going to be, and they're up 17 on a really good team with 1:28 to go in the second quarter.
That's what makes this Upperman team dangerous as well. If they're able to go 9-10 deep into their bench this season, it's going to be a dangerous team.
Now a breakout pass against the press, 2-on-1. Nice feed, a cross shot put up, no. Great help defense by Taylor Delente, and now Harrell muscles her way through, and a foul is called.
That was a really good job by Harrell. It was 2-on-1. She steps over, she stops the ball, gets the pass off in time, and allows that help defense, like you said, to get there in time, able to get the rebound, and then fouled in the process. Really good job by Harrell.
Yeah, Ella Harrell is giving some good minutes
right
now to the Lady Bees. Coming off the bench in this one. Allen working on her press. Hesitates, now able to float it ahead to Butler. Gracie Butler in the front court gives over to South. The freshman Sadie South to Ava Allen. We're going to say South's name a lot this season, I think. Delente working off a couple of ball screens. Step back three. Good! Taylor Delente with a Sonia Brown with American Way Real Estate three.
Her third three of this first half. You'll be saying her name quite a bit as well.
Shot up. That's no good. A rebound down. South bringing it ahead. Back last year, Delente, kind of similar to South. When you hear the words like, as South's going to trigger a three, it's no good. Long rebound out. She tips it, goes out of play, and it'll go to Moore County. When you hear words before a freshman season of Tori Brooks shooting level out of Dana McWilliams, and the high esteem she holds Tori Brooks to, now playing at Bryan College, she's a special shooter. Delente has lived up to it already with 3 threes in the game after a great freshman campaign. 25 seconds to go in the half. It is all Upperman here in this one. Into the front court they come. Now left side pass. All over the head. Now they are able to flip it over for Audrey Harder. Harder goes right wing side. 10 seconds left. It's a scoreless quarter right now for Moore County. Upperman wants to keep it that way in this zone look. 3 ball is up, and that is no good. A rebound down, and Upperman pitches a shutout in the second quarter. As I mentioned earlier, an Upperman game has broken out at Cascade at the break. It's 23-3, so we're going to mute our microphones. When I go back and post this later, I will post the timestamp of when the second half begins. So feel free right now to just swipe ahead to the next part of the stream when the third quarter begins. But at the break, it's Upperman 23, Moore County 3. You're watching Upperman Basketball, presented by Nick's Restaurant on the Frontier Chevy UCR Media Network. And welcome back as we gear up for the second half here at Cascade Middle School. Upperman rolling, leading 23-3 over Moore County. 9 points for Taylor Delente, 5 for Gracie Hamilton, 3 for Gracie Butler, and 2 apiece for Bella Stiles and Cora Bass. A shutout in the second quarter by Upperman. They outscore Moore County 12-0 in the frame, and they lead by 20. I'm Noah McKay, joined by Jacob Vinson. Happy you could be with us today. Desiree Phipps running the camera, producing things for us this morning. Also on our Facebook page being uploaded now, because I'm going to upload this game first, Upperman's boys against Laverne. Maybe they win, maybe they lose. You'll have to find out. And then the Upperman girls will take on Summertown as the 3 ball is up. That's no good. Rebound down. Here comes Gracie Butler the other way. She finds Bella Mullins running the floor. Mullins, the foul, and she will go to the Sonia Brown with American Way Real Estate free throw line to shoot 2.
This Bees team has just looked good on both sides of the ball so far. Obviously, defensively, only allowing the 3 points, and they've only come from the free throw line. Haven't allowed a field goal yet in this ball game defensively, which is absolutely something that's pretty impressive. Just 3 of 4 from the line is Katie Fletcher, and that was back in the first quarter. Good drive there by Mullins, though. And offensively, they're feeling some things out. They've got multiple different players that have scored. Now 6 different players that have scored, with Mullins actually being the 7th.
You know, I've spent a lot of time back at my previous employment only covering Upperman with a ton of Upperman basketball as Mullins goes 2 for 2. There's a different feeling every year. This year the feeling is this is a really good Upperman team. They may take some time to find their rhythm, as I say, as they lead by 22, but they're a really good Upperman team. They've lived up to it. There's another steal. This time it's Gracie Butler who intercepts it. Now Hamilton, 4-3, no good, too strong. Rebound fought for. It goes away to the Raiderettes.
Looks like the boys team making their way into the gym. They'll be having a big matchup with Laverne coming up in the second game.
2 words, Ty Cobb.
Yep.
Get your popcorn ready as they bring it over left side. Upperman staying in this zone that Moore County had nothing for. They do get an open look out of it. It's no good. Rebound down to Butler, and she is fouled. Second team foul of the quarter called against Moore County. 6:49 to go in the third.
Yeah, excited to see that Upperman team. Obviously, the Upperman team that plays today will be maybe a little bit different than 3 weeks from now.
Upperman-ish. Yeah,
even not even 3 weeks, a month from now.
And I thought it was cool, and we'll talk about this. Bobby McWilliams said, we don't want our football boys back for a couple more weeks.
Yeah.
They fully intend for them to finish the job. As we've talked about, the expectation at Upperman is to win championships, and the football team certainly has an opportunity to do that.
Well, that's what's special about the basketball team as well, and that's what's funny about them is they don't look great first half of the season, and then they start to turn it on in the second half of the season because those football guys are getting into basketball shape. Saw that last year winning the district tournament.
Delente off dribble. Now she kicks back to Hamilton. Hamilton spins as Moore County goes into his own look, trying to disrupt things. Butler sends it back over to Hamilton. This is where those 5 guards on the floor really pay off. Delente's 3 won't fall. Rebound tip goes right to Gracie Hamilton off the glass for 2.
Yeah, and then again, going up against that zone offensively, you're able to crash the boards, especially if nobody's boxing out. They had 3 different players inside, got an offensive rebound. Hamilton cashes it home.
Ooh, nearly intercepted by Delente. They're able to keep it in. Cycling through. Now another steal for a moment, potentially. They're fighting for it on the ground. Upperman has it, and here comes Stiles into the front court. Bella Stiles coast to coast off the glass for 2.
Saw Bella Stiles on the very first drive of the game for the Upperman Bees offense, and now the offense starting to turn it on, and it leads to another Moore County timeout. Coach Chad Spencer just looking for some kind of answer.
This is an onslaught. So to be at 9:49 a.m. when this is happening right now, they are certainly in a rhythm. And one thing we haven't mentioned so far, but we talk about all the time, first time I ever interviewed Dana McWilliams, she said, hey, we're a third quarter team. They are a third quarter team. They frequently come out in the third quarter and just lay it on to teams. They're doing that right now as they've opened up the frame on a 6-0 run through 2.5 minutes or so. 5:39 to go in the third in the timeout. It's up to a 26-point lead, and still no field goals for Moore County as Upperman's defense has completely dominated this basketball game.
Yeah, they're only giving up some 3-point opportunities. They haven't been able to cash home on those yet. Haven't been able to get any offensive rebounds. They've been able to get to the line just 2 times. That was back in the first quarter. Nothing in the second. Nothing so far here in the third. The defense has been physical, but they're not fouling a lot. They fouled a little bit to start the ball game, and that kind of gave them some opportunities to get to the line. Since then, they've cleaned it up. They've been much more clean playing defense. And Upperman's been looking pretty good.
Dare I say, at this point in this game, I'm very confident 7 AAA is going to be very good again.
Yeah.
After seeing what we've seen out of Cumberland County, out of Sparta, who's undefeated to start this season, out of Livingston against Saudi Daisy, they're in action today, and Clark Range. Interesting to see how that goes through that play day, as they have several games today. Upperman here starting 1-0. They'll play Summertown later on. I feel pretty confident saying they're going to start 1-0, considering it's a 26-point game with 5:30 to go in the third.
Summertown, a good team as well.
Yep, they are a perennial powerhouse in single A, been in the glass house over and over and over again. Driving baseline now, a flip pass back out. We're getting close to running clock territory in this one. Right wing pass goes. Now they flip it back across. This is grabbed by Audrey Harder. Back over to her sister, I imagine, Harder. She a couple of dribbles, pulls up for 3, nowhere close. Offensive rebound, though, the put back and the and one. And Fletcher is up to 5 points. She scored every basket so far for Moore County, and she'll go to the line to try to complete a 3-point play as the frustration mounts for Upperman. They've given up a field goal.
First field goal of the ball game. Yeah, that's right. Didn't quite foul her hard enough, I guess.
And Fletcher, a player Coach McWilliams told me about pregame, said she's a really good player for him, and she uses her size to her advantage. She's able to make another free throw there where she's 3 of 4 so far. 23-point lead for the Lady Bees. Hamilton, a little bit wide with the dribble, able to corral it, now finds Delente. Delente picks up her dribble in the middle of the lane, finds Butler, who steps through and puts it off the glass, but it doesn't fall. Fight for the board. We got a jump ball. Possession arrow belongs to the Lady Bees.
Really good job by Stiles. She's got a little bit more height down there, especially against a 1A opponent, using that to her advantage, going up for the basketball, tying it up, and keeping it for the Bees.
Inbounds pass goes into the corner. Delente, catch and shoot. That's no good. A rebound fought for again. We got a scrum and a foul. I think it's going on an Upperman. It is. That'll be the second team foul against the Lady Bees, and possession goes back to the Raiderettes.
Butler didn't agree with it too much. She's going to be tagged with it, but she did tie up the arm just a little bit, tried to rip it down. And
she was just a little frustrated, I think, even more so with the miss on the drive there. It was a really good step through. It just didn't quite fall for her. Butler, one of those players, kind of been in and out of practice. She's healthy now, and so she's going to continue to find her rhythm. Now that ball is tipped and intercepted, picked off again by Stiles. The turnover numbers are going to be impressive. Upperman has a ton of forced turnovers in this one. Delente, hands off to Hamilton. She flips it over to Butler. Butler with a couple of dribbles, floats away. Here comes the trap. Pivots and steps through, fires a pass that's going to be intercepted. Now here they come into the front court, Ellie Graham. Graham running the floor. Flip pass over to Fletcher. Nice step through for her. She puts it off the glass. No. Butler has the rebound stolen out of her hands. A foul on the floor. Before the shot, it will go on Butler again. Ella Harrell about to check in, as is Sadie South for the Lady Bees.
Yeah, it was a really good job. She got on the rebound. She tried to kind of reach around. That's what got her on the foul, trying to reach around the body and grab the ball. And so Harrell and South coming back in, give a little bit of a breather to Hamilton and Butler.
Inbounds pass comes in here for the Raiderettes. They're trying to settle in and just make something happen here. First action for them as well this year. Bounce pass baseline. It's a Hall of Fame game officially. Hall of Fame classic here. Games all day here at the middle school and the high school. They flip it back across. Now they swing it around. Goodwin. Goodwin goes left wing side. Harder. Harder has a pass nearly stolen away. Now a crossover move. Graham. Graham floats back out. Couple of dribbles, and that is a double dribble. And possession goes back to Upperman.
Kind of forgot about that first power dribble. She was trying to get the pass over. It was a good job by the Upperman defense, kind of stepping into that passing lane. That kind of made her pick up that first dribble, and then just kind of forgot about putting it onto the deck the first time.
Mullins accelerates towards this half-court trap set. Stiles with it. Stiles looking for Delente. It's tipped out of play. It'll stay with Upperman. 3.5 to go in the third quarter. Parker and Sazanoff checking into the game here for Moore County. Stiles gets it into Mullins. Mullins looking for Delente on the other side. Reverse pass finds her. Now she picks up her dribble back over to Mullins. Mullins weaving through traffic, sends over to South. South, now she'll flip it all the way across for Delente. Delente one dribble looking for Harrell. It's overthrown out of play. Possession goes back to the Raiderettes. Dana McWilliams wants to talk about things. With 3:12 to go in the third quarter, it's 29-6.
Well, I was just going to say, even with some of these younger players coming in, the Moore County has turned up the pressure defensively, and they've been able to move the ball around without turning it over. They have turned it over in the last couple of possessions, so calling the timeout, trying to take care of the basketball, and getting their point guard back in there, Butler.
Gracie Butler, and you know, it's interesting. You mentioned that point guard. It's kind of a question mark who's going to be the dominant point guard, and they may not have one this year. Last year, Jayla Cobb kind of emerged in that role the back half of the season, but you've seen Bella Mullins play it. You've seen Gracie Hamilton play it. Gracie Butler handles the basketball. You know, Cora Bass off the bench, maybe the most true point guard on the team, but she's playing those spell minutes role. So that's an interesting spot to watch. Dana McWilliams always expects a ton out of her point guard. She always gets a ton out of her point guards. Think about Akira Levy, Brooklyn Crouch, some high company in the last just few years. Forget about dating back to some of the huge names, players in the rafters there. Full court press back in play here for Upperman. Now that pass was tipped out of play. Possession's going to go to Upperman with 3:03 on the clock.
Yeah, the pressure just keep on turning up, and that's what Upperman's really good at doing all game long. They make it difficult for you to move the basketball and do anything with it.
Post-game, we will have the Nelson Trophy and screen printing player of the game. Bella Mullins gives off left side to Lente. Or pardon me, South. South finds Delente. She triggers the three offline, no good. Fight for the rebound and another foul on Butler, who's gotten three in quick succession here in the second half.
Yeah, and I believe she's still just at those three, unless she did pick up another one I missed in the first half.
That is
yeah,
her
still
third.
just those three.
And Gracie Hamilton and Cora Bass going to check into the game for South and Butler.
Now that'll be a really nice thing for Coach McWilliams if she's able to keep using 4 or 5 deep into her bench, keep those fresh legs out there, especially the style that they play, that very high pressure.
Pass nearly picked off. Moore County able to get into the front court. Handoff pass poked away from behind by Hamilton, and they award it to Upperman. I don't think that's a break for the Lady Bees, but they'll take it. I'm not sure the officials saw the poke from Hamilton. He was kind of shielded off there on the other side. That's a 23-point game, though. Everybody's all right. And it goes to Hamilton. Is it early or late? One of the two.
At this point, it all runs together.
Exactly. What day is it? Delente. Flip pass over to Hamilton. She goes over to Bass. Don't call me tomorrow. I'm not answering. Hamilton drives in the lane, loses her footing, and is fouled. Yeah, a little bump there. I think Fletcher got her on the arm on her way in. And it's called on 14, but he meant 13 because 14's not out there.
Yeah.
2:19 to go in the third. Inbounds pass looking for Mullins. It was tipped and it's intercepted. Raiderettes have possession. And they bring it into the front court. Goodwin gives off left side for Parker. Parker to Graham. Graham flips it back right side. Now into the corner it goes. Trying to work it into the low block. Ella Harrell says, get out of my lane. 3 ball is up. That one is no good. Fight for the rebound. Raiderettes have it. It's knocked out of play. Went off the leg of Harrell. Possession stays with the Raiderettes.
Yeah, she tried to back her down and wasn't going anywhere on that one.
Bella Stiles back to the scorer's table. She checks into the game. See, she's coming in for Mullins. So we're seeing different rotations here. And that's Upperman trying to figure out what is the 5 that it needs to be on most nights. Giving a lot of different players an opportunity. Into the low block. Working around, and now this is kind of their big lineup, minus Butler. You add Gracie Butler in here, and it's the tallest they can get with 5 on the floor. Cora Bass gives over to Delente. Delente back to Bass. Bass finds Hamilton. She'll trigger the 3, and it's no good. I thought that went through.
Short.
But it was short. The possession arrow belongs to Moore County. I thought that thing bottomed straight through.
I think it was short left and almost wedged it. It was that much short. It kind of just kept going down.
Well, nobody yelled, so
No one cheered.
It wasn't good. 1:31 to go in the third. Upperman still showing that full court pressure look. Now that one was nearly stolen away, but instead, Raiderettes have it. Jump stop, jump shot. That one won't fall. Rebound tipped. It's still loose, and Moore County has it. 1:14 to go in the third. Feels like Moore County stabilized things, but they've only scored 3 points in the quarter. Baseline pass. That one again turning, and Harrell going to get called for a. Jeremy Tollison's on the headset, a bad foul call. 1:04 to go in the third. It's a 23-point game. Nobody can slow me down. I'm tired and irritable. That was a bad call. Harrell had great positioning and didn't have to move out of the way.
Kind of like in the end zone show last night when you were able to Said, Jeremy's not on the headset anymore, so I can say what I want to now.
As the first free throw is up, that one is no good. Misses to the left. He balances me out.
It does bring a really good point of view, especially since he did it for
Well,
a long time. It did it at a really high level as well.
Nobody tell him I said this, but he knows more than me about officiating. I'll deny it if you tell him I said it. There's no evidence of me saying that. As the free throw is good for Graham. She's on the scoreboard for the first time, and it's 29-7. Mullins flips it across to Hamilton. Hamilton back over to Mullins. Again, this different look defensively has given Upperman some problems on offense. Delente, corner three. They've also gone cold, as that one's no good. Rebound down and a foul is called. And this is going to be a trip to the line to shoot two as they're in the bonus here. I believe this is going to be Ellie Graham back to the line.
Yeah, they get Mullins on the foul, trying to go up for the rebound. A little too physical, and like you said, Graham going to the line again. Just went 1 for 2 from the stripe again. Still just one field goal for this Moore County team in this ball game. 47 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Most of their points have come from the charity stripe.
And that one is good, nothing but net. I'm sure that one went through.
Yes.
Graham now 2 for 3. Next one up, good as well. 2 for 2, and all of a sudden, Moore County, offensive firepower. Upperman's playing really good defense today. Stiles with it on the right wing side. She gives off. Hamilton. Hamilton flips back to Stiles. Stiles back over to Hamilton. Hamilton flip pass over to Mullins. It's a good Moore County team, man. I'm telling you, it's a good
really
Moore
is.
County team. And this defense is going to give a lot of single-A teams problems this year.
Yeah, I mean, Upperman really haven't been able, ever since the start of the third quarter, about midway through, they've gone cold, and they haven't really been able to find too much offensively.
10 seconds, Upperman trying to hold for the final look. 8 seconds now as they flip it back across to Hamilton. Delente's open, and she'll trigger the three. No good. Rebound down. Moore County with it. 1 second left. They'd have to put it up, and they do not. That brings us to the end of the third. After 3, it's Upperman 29, Moore County 9. You're watching Upperman Basketball, presented by Nick's Restaurant, the Frontier Chevy, UCR Media Network.
The Crossroads Auction Group are the Upper Cumberland's auction experts. As a full-service auction company, they take your stress away every step of the way. Servicing the entire Upper Cumberland, the Crossroads Auction Group gets your property ready from cleanup, setup, picture-taking, up to the auction and beyond. They handle all auctions from estates, residential, farms, land, commercial, and everything else. For more information, visit crossroadsauctiongroup.com or call 931-644-7149 today. The Crossroads Auction Group are proud sponsors of this broadcast on the UCR Media Network.
Welcome back. Entering the fourth quarter of play, Lady Bees lead 29-9. And Jacob, we're talking in the break there. Felt like a good quarter for Moore County, and it was a tie. Both teams scored 6 points.
6-6.
Now Gracie Butler back into the game. She goes off to Taylor Delente. See if that ups this Upperman offense just a little bit here in the frame, having Butler back out there. She's trapped in some trouble. Pivots, and Dana McWilliams calls timeout. Instead, there's a hold. So a hold is the call on Moore County, as Butler did a good job to not let it get tied up and was trying to find somewhere to go with the basketball and able to make something happen.
Yeah, a good job stepping through that double team, creating some of that contact, and at least making the official make a decision on the foul call. But this Moore County team, they've turned up that defensive pressure, and they've looked really good defensively.
Mullins with it. Mullins gives over to Delente. Delente back, Hamilton. Hamilton starts to drive, and now she'll fire over to Mullins. Mullins drives baseline, sends a pass that was tipped. The length of Moore County in the lane, wrecking a little bit of havoc right now. Give pass back to Anna Harder. Harder near the center court logo. She gives off to Audrey Harder. Now left side into the baseline. Fletcher fires a pass over everybody's head out of play. Possession back to the Lady Bees. 7:07 on the clock. Sadie South back to the scorer's table here for Upperman.
And they're starting to do what they need to offensively. They're trying to get into the middle of that zone and pinch down some of the defenders and kick out of it. They had an open shot on the wing. Mullins brought it back in and just wasn't able to do anything with it. So they're starting to get on the right track and just haven't been able to find anything out of it yet.
Laverne is here. They're rolling in. They're going to take on the Bees coming up. It's an interesting matchup.
Yeah.
Upperman-ish.
Very ish.
And especially against Laverne, just looking at the size, all the size is playing football right now for Upperman.
Yep.
So we'll see. It's going to be a tough challenge for the Bees, but I think everybody understands the situation there, and they're going to take a crack at it. 6:56 to go in the fourth. It's 29-9. Gracie Butler with the basketball. Butler gives off to Hamilton. Gracie Hamilton with a nice crossover to Delente. Into the corner, South. South, good bounce pass over to Delente. That's what you want to see out of a youngster while being pressured. Now a kick out pass from Butler to South. Good! Sadie South with her first varsity bucket, and it's a Sonia Brown with American Way Real Estate 3.
Yeah, really good shot on the outside there from South, able to knock it down. And you mentioned how she's a pretty good three-point shooter, able to find her first.
Yeah, she's had a couple of looks, hasn't been able to fall. She does there, and after a miss, here comes Gracie Butler with numbers if they hurry. The feed across to Hamilton is in for two.
Now the offense is starting to find it a little bit more.
6:11 to go in the ball game. 34-9, Upperman out in front. Driving in, and again, what have you seen? An assist by Gracie Butler, and then another assist by Gracie Butler.
Again, might not necessarily be the point guard, but still distributes the basketball really well.
And a threat to score as well. 3-ball here for Moore County, and they finally are able to make one fall. Anna Harder splashes in the three, and they're into double digits now at 34-12. Now South again in the corner, triggers it again, and that's no good, but Delente are right there for the rebound. She gives out to Hamilton. Hamilton kicks to Stiles. Stiles going to drive the lane. She kicks to Butler. Butler for three. Good. Gracie Butler splashes in a Sonia Brown with American Way Real Estate 3. And the Upperman offense has roared back to life here in the final frame.
Yep, the defense just keeping it up. The offense finally finding a little bit of that rhythm against this good Moore County defense and extending that lead now.
Wholesale subs about to check in for the Raiderettes. 4 at the scorer's table. We're nearing the 5-minute to play mark. Driving in the lane, shot put up, and there's the call. See if it goes on Stiles or Butler. I think it's on Stiles. It is not. It's on Butler, and she can't believe it. And that's her fourth, and that was the wrong player for my money. That's going to send Bella Mullins back to the scorer's table here for Upperman.
Well, the good thing is they're leading by 25 points.
That does help. And the first free throw is no good. It was a foul, but I don't think Butler was the one that committed it. Free throw coming here. Second one is good. Falling through for Ellie Graham. She's had 4 points at the line here in the second half. Back to a 24-point game. Mullins gives over to Hamilton. Hamilton to Mullins. Now Delente to South in the corner. Delente with it. You can see they're trying to move this zone around. South in the corner. She flips it back to Hamilton. Hamilton to Delente. Delente. Hamilton jumps up for it. Now kicks to South. Extra pass to Delente.
Haven't moved it from this right side of the court, though.
They love to get South, I think, open for three as it's knocked out of her hands. Possession stays with the Lady Bees. 4.5 to go in the ball game. We'll have the Nelson Trophy and Screen Printing Player of the Game post-game. Hamilton to inbound. Sends it in the corner. Delente, catch and shoot. They love that inbounds play, but it doesn't fall. Rebound tipped, and it goes to Mullins. Now Mullins in traffic, able to spin out of danger. Now fires a pass that's tipped, intercepted by the Raiderettes, and then a foul will be called on Delente. It'll be the second team foul against the Lady Bees.
Yeah, we've seen that a couple times now with Mullins in some traffic, just trying to go with a chest pass out to the perimeter. Either have to skip it over the top or you got to go to a bounce pass to the player next to you, especially with about 2 or 3 different defenders around her.
Third personal on Delente. That sends Ava Allen to the scorer's table. Time ticking away here. Upperman closing in on a 1-0 start to the season. 32-game winner last year, I should say. Full court press still being ratcheted up here by the Lady Bees. Into the front court they come. Martin spins, able to get it in the middle of that defense. Then the baseline now, up and under with the lay-in. Foul is called on Delente. She can't believe it. That's her fourth personal. It's going to be a trip to the line to shoot two here for Bella Tucker.
Moore County not quite going away yet, and some of those players on the end of the bench getting into the game as well. So good start for the Raiderettes. Again, they'll be playing a little more basketball today, and good start to the season for the Bees so far. They're able to watch some football last night, still alive, and that's going to be a fun game next week at Greenville. But then in their basketball season started today, and keep it continuing next week.
Yeah, they'll be in action at Lebanon on Friday and Saturday. That showcase that happens every year. Free throw no good. Rebound down to Upperman. Hamilton flips it ahead to South. South to Allen. Now over to Hamilton. Hamilton bounces it back to Allen. Allen picks up her dribble. She's trying to get it to South. It's nearly stolen. Stiles has it momentarily poked out of her hands. Fight on the ground for it. Jump. Possession arrow belongs to Moore County.
I'm really interested to see how this boys Bees team comes playing out in this next game, especially Ty Cobb starting now. They still have Braden Roberts. That's about all they have, at least in terms of their starters.
Evan
Yeah,
Huddleston.
Torrance.
There's some players who are going to start today that may not start in the future, but have a huge opportunity to earn a ton of minutes.
Yeah.
As the pass gets spun out here to Ellie Graham. Graham kicks back. It's Mackenzie Goodwin with it. Goodwin goes inside. In the land of the trees. Now extra pass over. Open three is up and good. Made by Goodwin. And the final score is going to be, I think, a little closer than the game was, as they're making it interesting. And Dana McWilliams has had enough. Delente and Butler are back to the scorers table here. She doesn't want it to look any closer than
She'd
it
rather
was.
it be in that single digits again.
Yeah, she doesn't want it to be over 20, I would certainly think. Allen, she didn't care specifically about the number, but she wants to finish strong. Hamilton, 4-3, no good, too strong. Rebound down. Upperman's gone cold in the field here in the second half a little bit. They did not start that way as they raced out to a big lead. Spinning inside, that's a travel. Instead, it's an and one. Absolutely getting away with it. My goodness. Ellie Graham's going to go to the line to try to complete a three-point play.
Well, it looked like they got Harrell.
I can do some quick math. That was 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, 4 step. Butler and Delente back in for Harrell and Allen.
It's that gather step.
Free throw up, and that is good. Graham all of a sudden leads them in scoring with 7 points.
I was going to say, has turned it on a little bit here in the second half.
And just 3 points at halftime. Hamilton with it. Hamilton sends over right side. Now back to her. Hamilton and South back and forth. South triggers the three. That's no good, but an offensive rebound for Bella Stiles, and they'll reset it out. Hamilton back to Butler. She thought about the triple, instead puts the dribble down. Butler spins into a little bit of trouble, able to maintain it. Now Butler steps through and finds Hamilton. Hamilton to Delente. Delente had a momentary gap, instead gives off to Hamilton. Now Butler. Butler getting hit all over the place and just muscles through it for two.
That was a really strong drive by the sophomore. She's due for a big season, and that's what's fun about this Bees team as well. They're going to be led by a couple of sophomores, and obviously Bella Stiles going to be out there as well leading this team.
Tip pass by Delente. It stays on this end. Running out of time near that 10-second timer. They do get it into the front court. In some danger now. Parker able to get a nice feed outside. Shot thrown up with the right hand. That won't go. Stiles with the rebound. Now here comes Bella Stiles pushing it in transition. 90 seconds to play. Hamilton gets fouled. A little push from Tucker. Third team foul against Moore County. Bass. And now Coach McWilliams will empty the bench. Johnson, Darcy Hickey. Nash checking in. Allen in the game as well. And they do a do-si-do. And Allen's going to stay at the scorer's table. And now she's going to check in. And will inbound. 1:25 to go in the game. Bass gives over to Allen. Back to Bass. Allen with it. You know the game's gone well when you're able to get some of the youngsters playing time late. Left side pass in some trouble. Nash, and now we've got a jump ball. Possession arrow belongs to Upperman. Cora Bass with the basketball now. Bass flips it over to Nash. Nash from the left wing spins it to Allen. Now back out to Bass. Bass fires a pass that tipped up and will be taken away by the Raiderettes, and now they'll push it in transition going the other way. Graham tries to slice, and a foul is called. It'll be the 5th team foul and a trip to the line to shoot 2 here for Ellie Graham.
I believe they're going to get Bass with this one, or at least it should be. Yeah. It looked like Allen kind of got the ball away cleanly, and then Bass must have been in on the arm. And Graham will try to continue, keep on putting some points up there.
First free throw is good for Graham. Well, she's sniffing double figures all of a sudden for this squad.
Definitely making it look a lot closer than it was early on in this game. They only had 6 points about midway through the third quarter.
Yeah, this game was never close. It may end up being about a 15-point game, but it was more lopsided than that in a major, major way. Allen gives left side. Johnson, nice baseline drive, tries to throw it up and under. It was blocked. Possession goes back to the Raiderettes.
Should have just gone straight up with it.
Now right side pass. Goodwin. Flips it back over to Parker. Parker with it. Now driving in, shot thrown up. Graham, that's no good. Johnson with a rebound. 27 seconds knocked out of her hands. It stays with Upperman with 26 seconds on the clock. So all in all, successful game number 1. And they'll turn their attention towards Summertown. 2 teams that play very differently. Summertown does not play like Moore County does, so that's a little bit of a challenge preparing for 2 games in one day. See how Upperman adjusts to that and how they play against a different style. 10 seconds on the clock. Allen gets the pass away. Now back to her. She'll drive baseline. Allen has it swatted. Takes a hard fall. She's okay. Graham with a huge height advantage used it there. Shot at the buzzer won't go. And that brings us to the final score. Upperman gets it done here in game number 1, 39-22 over Moore County. The Lady Bees get to 1-0 on the young season. All right, we'll get to the scoring from the game. The Nelson Trophy and screen printing player of the game. For Upperman, scoring leading them was Gracie Butler with 11, 9 points apiece for Taylor Delente and Gracie Hamilton. 4 for Bella Stiles, 3 for Sadie South, 2 apiece for Bella Mullins and Cora Bass for a team total of 39. All right, it's time for the Nelson Trophy and screen printing player of the game. Jacob, who's it going to this morning?
I'll go Gracie Butler, not only the leading scorer, getting the job done, distributing the basketball, playing some really good defense as well. Tremendous defense through especially 3 quarters of play, and then Moore County was finally able to find something there in the fourth quarter. But Gracie Butler, pretty good first game in her sophomore season.
Gracie Butler, the Nelson Trophy and screen printing player of the game. So as soon as you're done watching this game, you can pull up the next game that we're uploading. That's Upperman against Laverne, the first game in the high school career of Ty Cobb. We'll talk about it coming up in that new video that'll be posted on our Facebook and YouTube channels. Final score here in game number 1. Upperman 39, Moore County 22. I'm Noah McKay for Jacob Vincent and Desiree Phipps. Have a great day, everybody.